And hey, everybody,
Hello.
welcome in. So, as you can see, Mom is not with us tonight. She is traveling. If she's able to hop onto the stream later on, then she's going to do that. But for right now, we're just planning on trucking ahead, me and Jillian, and we're following up last week's discussion on about Disneyland. We had so much to talk about that we decided to go ahead and make it 2 weeks worth of Disneyland discussion. And so Jillian wasn't with us last week, and so she's with us this week, obviously. And so we're going to talk some about our first time going to Disneyland. We've been one time, had a blast, really enjoyed it, learned a lot about taking a trip to Disneyland versus Disney World, and so looking forward to talking about Disneyland tonight.
Yeah. So in 2017, I kind of had the idea to go to Disneyland for my birthday because we had always been to Disney World, never Disneyland. So I really wanted to go there for my birthday. Will, it's been a couple of his birthdays at Disney World. So I was like, it's probably my time to pick where we go for my birthday. So I did want to go on a cruise too, but I just feel like if you're going to do Disney, it needs to be at the parks. So we kind of narrowed it down, and we went back and forth on if we wanted to go to Disneyland or Disney World. Disneyland is a little bit more expensive for anyone who's planning a trip and doesn't know. But Will gets a discount with his company buying tickets through them. So even with the discount, it was still a little bit expensive, but we decided to go ahead and do that instead of going to Disney World, and it was amazing. Sometimes I don't know if I like Disneyland or Disney World better. They're so different, but they're the same, I guess. So there's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of similarities. So it's hard for me to choose, and I wish we could just go to Disneyland this year and next year and every year after that because It's so much fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we just had a great time. For anybody that's thinking of taking a trip, like Jillian said, I kind of priced things out, and whenever we went for the first time, it was 2016. Whenever we went to Disney World for the first time.
Yeah, together. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was our first solo trip with just me and Jillian, and I was kind of pricing things out, and I was like, man, I feel like I can get more days for the money. If I go and stay at, even if I stay on property and get the meal plan and everything, I felt like I could get more time in the parks. More park days is huge whenever, you're planning a Disney vacation, because that's why you make the trip. And so I just kind of priced it all out, and I was like, man, we can get more, bang for our buck if we go to Disney World instead of Disneyland. And so, we live in Texas, so we're right there in the middle. So we have to fly either way, or, hop in the car and take a long
trip,
long road trip, which we've done that before to Disney World. Never driven to Disneyland, but have driven.
We sure did drive to Disney World.
Loaded up. And it had a great time. But yeah, so but finally we made the decision to go ahead and go to Disneyland, and I'm so thankful that we did.
Yeah,
because we really had a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Just kind of looking at the area. I was trying to gauge. Okay, if we're gonna go, where are we gonna stay? And I was pricing stuff out. I was looking at the different parks. There's I think they're called Good Neighbor hotels that are located there around Disneyland. And so I looked at that, and finally, I was kind of looking, kind of gauging condition, looked at a bunch of reviews. And at that time, there was a Holiday Inn Suites there close to Disneyland that had opened fairly recently.
It looked really new when we checked in. It looked really new.
Yeah, and so we decided that we were going to go and check that one out. Hey, welcome in.
Hi.
We're Disney fan.
We're just talking about Disneyland. We've been once, so we're going to talk about our trip planning experience for the first time, and then we're going to talk about some of our favorite things at Disneyland. So if you have anything that you want to add to it, to the conversation, just jump right in. If you haven't been to Disneyland, let us know. If you have, let us know too. And we want to talk to you about it. So
thanks for watching tonight. Looking forward to talking about Disneyland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just talking about it, whenever we made the decision to go for the first time, we were trying to decide where to stay. Looked at kind of different information, looked at pictures of the different hotels that are near Disneyland, also looked at the Disney resorts as well. And we're like, if we're going to go, we'd rather focus our money on, going and, being able to buy souvenirs.
And we always stay on property at Disney World. And we'll talk a little bit about that too, how at Disney World, I believe that it's worth it to stay on property. But at Disneyland, I didn't really see a huge need for it. So it did not offend me in the least bit that we didn't stay on property. And we did stay at the Holiday Inn. And, you check in and everyone's wearing Mickey Mouse shirts. They're like Hawaiian style. They had Mickey and Minnie pictures all over the hotel. There was a big Cinderella carriage right when you walked in. And I didn't know if that was a Christmas decoration because we did go at Christmas time, or if that's something that's always there. But you still got Disney in a hotel that wasn't Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was even a big Mickey statue on top of this kind of swiveling thing that had a bunch of brochures on it. And so, I mean, even though we weren't staying on property whenever we went and took our trip to Disneyland for the first time, we still had that Disney feel, and it was great. I mean, we thoroughly enjoyed it. The room was a good size. It was nice and clean. And let's see here. Big Disney fan says, haven't been to either California Adventure or Disneyland or Walt Disney World, but your cousin and you will go to Walt Disney World in 3 years to celebrate your 61st. That is going to be a great time. If you haven't been, make sure that you go ahead and grab my first visit pin. Yeah. And that Jillian, a little plug there, Jillian put together a video for 10 free things that you can get at Disney.
Those pins, right when you walk into Disneyland, you'll walk to the left and there's like a guest services. We had to go there anyway because we couldn't get our app to work. Because once you enter the park, your app is supposed to know that you're in the park with your ticket, and you're supposed to be able to do fast passes that way. So we went over to that to the guest relations building. And it's right by the fire station where Walt Disney World has his lamp on. So that was cool. We got to see all that first thing. They helped us get our app going. And we got, I got a birthday pin and a first visit pin. And then he decided he was going to steal my birthday thunder because he just graduated with his MBA. So he got a graduation button and a first visit button as well. So.
Yeah. And so, it was. That's definitely something neat. Anytime, if you're taking a first trip or if you're celebrating something, make sure and grab one of those free pins because not only you can keep it as a souvenir, and nice, you'll be able to get your birthday pin as well. So the cast members are great about recognizing that, and let's see here. Cast members are great about recognizing your pins, and saying happy birthday or, asking, it's your first visit, and they kind of add that extra magic to your trip, whether you've got, reservations or if you're eating somewhere, if you have reservations to dine somewhere in the parks. But, so anyway,
back to planning.
Back to planning. But let's see. All-Star Movies. I've stayed at All-Star Movies once, but it's been a long time ago. Most recently, we stayed at All-Star Sports and really enjoyed that. If you're taking the bus, to and from the parks, you kind of got all the All-Star resorts there. Movies, music, and sports all together. So. What's the secret menu?
We'd like to know.
I'd like to know about that. Big Disney fan.
Yeah. So when we were planning our trip to California, which is where Disneyland is, in case anyone's on who doesn't know the difference between the two, the hotel was obviously first, but then we had a big decision to make too. Do we rent a car or do we not? Because when you go to Disney World, they have a bus that picks you up and they shuttle you around. Well, Disneyland doesn't really have anything like that. When we were there, they may now. I'm not sure, but they didn't when we were there.
Yeah, if you're staying on property, that they'll have the Magical Express pick you up there at the airport. And so we didn't have that going to Disneyland since we didn't stay on property.
So we finally decided to rent a car because we had other things we wanted to do as well. We were there for like 4 or 5 days, and so we had other things to do as well. It eliminated the question of like, what are you going to do with your bags when you check out of the hotel, but you still want to go somewhere? Because we've done that at Walt Disney World before. We've carried our bags around Disney Springs. So getting a car was ultimately the best decision in LA, and I highly recommend if you are going to LA, that's probably the best way to do it, because if you're sitting in an Uber or a taxi, your meter is going and running because you're sitting in it, and your time is going when you're stuck in traffic. So we rented from Enterprise, and they were super awesome. We didn't even have to pay to refill the car when we returned it to the place. We paid a little bit extra for that, and I felt like it worked out really well for us. They valet parked our car when we got to the Holiday Inn, and so we didn't have to worry about parking or finding our car. They went and got it for us. They brought it to us when we were ready, and it was one of those things that ended up being the best decision for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And the walk to the park wasn't that bad at all. It was 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, I'd say it took us probably 10 minutes in the morning. It probably took us about 15 or 20 on the way back because we were really tired from being in the parks, but being in that area, I was kind of afraid to walk at first, but there's really the only people that are walking up and down that street are people going to and from Disneyland.
Yeah.
You have a lot of families that are walking. A lot of people looked like they may have been locals too. So honestly, there wasn't anything to worry about when safety came to it. And it made me feel better about our decision at the end of the day walking, because you could see the people waiting in line for the buses. And I was like, that just looks miserable having to wait in those lines, because Disneyland is very small and compact in comparison to Disney World.
Yeah.
And so you've got to take that into consideration too if you're planning for the first time. And my mom tried to tell us how small it was, and I didn't believe her. I was like, there's no way it can be that small. But it is. That was probably the biggest shock and wow factor for me walking in. I was like, that's the sign? I was like, it's just a little Disneyland sign. So it is. It's really small and compact. So when you're planning, keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that was interesting to me, I guess going basically to Disney World my whole life, and then finally making that first trip to Disneyland was that, I'd heard people say, Disneyland is a locals park. And so, I definitely picked up on that vibe while I was there, because it just seemed like the pace was a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't rushing, across the park to get to one thing to the next. People were kind of making their way, through the park at kind of their own pace. Nobody was going crazy. We've done it before where we've planned, a trip, a year or more in advance. And so you're wanting, whenever you go to Walt Disney World and you're wanting to, since the park is bigger, it also, I think, plays a factor as well, because you're taking more steps, and you're trying to get in everything you can while you're there, because you planned the trip out for so long, and so since it's mainly locals, it seems like at Disneyland, now there's plenty of tourists, obviously, but since it's primarily locals that are there, going into the park, they're not rushing around as much, So
it was really easy going.
Big time. Yeah.
Which made a difference when you plan a trip like that. So a little bit about the app. Disneyland has an app too, like Disney World does, but Disneyland still sends you paper tickets in the mail, and you sync that paper ticket up with your app.
And so you need to know this information if you're going to get the Max Pass.
Something that we didn't know is that we've always been to Disney World where we have our magic bands. Everything's on the app. Disneyland, on the other hand, when we walked in and we were at guest services, we were trying to get everything fixed, and she asked where our paper tickets were. And she was like, we highly recommend that you bring those into the park as well, because their systems go down more frequently at Disneyland than Disney World. And she said, if our systems are to ever go down, or our app is to go down, you need that paper ticket to be able to do everything. So that's a good tip that we didn't know going for the first time, and we were not about to waste our time to go all the way back to get them.
Yeah.
So we luckily did not have any issues that first day. But then from there on out, we put them in the envelope they came in, and we put them in his backpack, and we took him to the parks from there on out.
Yeah, that was huge, because if they had issues with the app, we wouldn't have been able to get fast passes, those paper fast passes, by using our using the little stub to give you those. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we decided to use the Max Pass. If you're local, you may not necessarily need it as much per se, if you're making the trip a lot. But for those that are making, the trip especially for the first time, or those that don't get to go as often, it was a great decision for us because we covered, I think we hit most all of the major rides before lunchtime.
The second you walk into the park, like we mentioned earlier, your app knows that you're there. So you can go, it's not like Disney World where you can schedule your fast passes ahead of time. You have to be in the park to do it. So you want to be there. And we were there probably 15, 20 minutes before park opened, because we waited in line for it to open all the days that we were there. They opened the gates. We walked in, and your app knows you're there with your ticket. So we went in, and you can schedule one at a time. But once you're in line for that first ride, I think we did Indiana Jones probably right off the bat.
We tried to, but it had technical difficulty. We rode the Jungle Cruise while we were trying to schedule our fast passes. And
so you kind of, because that was the first one. You walk in, and once you go through, so say we had a fast pass for the Jungle Cruise. Once you scan that to go into line, automatically take your phone out and schedule your next fast pass. That way you get the more bang for your buck, I would say. Don't wait until the ride's over. Don't wait an hour down the road. Just keep scheduling them all day long. That way we had fast passes every ride basically that you were allowed to have a fast pass to.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, they even gave us a fast pass to use for something else while also pushing out our fast pass for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we hopped on Jungle Cruise first because that was the first ride we came upon where we went to the left.
And the line was super short.
And so we hopped on that, and then, it was also right there close to Indiana Jones. And so we got off the ride and then realized, they're having technical difficulties, and they gave us a fast pass to use, and we decided to go ride the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And so we hit the Haunted Mansion, we hit Space Mountain, we had done the Jungle Cruise. What else did we do?
Matterhorns,
or
did we wait for that section later?
I think it was just a little bit later.
Yeah. We did basically the whole left side of the park.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. And Disneyland it's kind of set up like Disney World, where you have your Frontier and
Frontierland, Adventureland,
all of those different lands. It's just really compact.
Yeah.
So you can make all of those. Hi, Monarch Moments.
Yeah. Hey there, welcome in. Thanks for hopping in. It's good to see you. Let's see. I got to run. I got to say hello. We'll watch on the replay. Have a good night, guys.
Well, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so, and I will say about Disneyland, if you've never been, this was the part to us where we were like, whoa, this would never happen at Disney World, is that their rides do go down frequently. We ran in. Now, when your mom went, I don't think she said she had that problem, but when we went.
Was it the Little Mermaid?
Yeah. A few rides kept just the same ones kept going. I think even the Haunted Mansion went down for a little bit. Pirates went down for a little bit. I believe Matterhorn went down.
Pirates was another one that we hit.
Yes, yeah. So don't be discouraged, because if you have your fast pass scheduled, you walk up to them, you say, "Hey, I had a fast pass at this time." They will give you a paper fast pass so that you don't lose that. And that paper fast pass, I believe, can be used at any ride. Because when Indiana Jones went down,
I want to say it was in the app, I think.
Yeah, it's in the app. We walked over to Pirates to use it instead, because we didn't know how long it would take. But that app, keep refreshing it, because they'll tell you when the ride comes back up. So I will say that was something about Disney World. You don't see rides going down like you do at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So
not as frequently. That was something that really shocked us that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
But let's see here. We've had some more comments in the thread. Let's see here. Big Disney fan says that All-Star Movies, they have a secret menu with a hamburger. Instead of a regular hamburger bun, it has a bun made of a cinnamon bun.
Interesting.
That's interesting. That sounds pretty good. I'd like to give that a shot. I'll have to keep that in mind.
I'm not very adventurous when it comes to food, but I guess at Disney World or Disneyland, I could stretch a little bit and be adventurous.
Yeah. Let's see. Size of the park is why you're going to Walt Disney World. I think that's a good choice. There's you've got Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot. Obviously the Magic Kingdom as well. And so, yeah, I think you're gonna have a great time on that trip for sure.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know Disneyland, you walk in and there's Disneyland on one side, California Adventure on the other, and straight through. If you walk through the road for both of those entrances, you walk right into Disney or downtown Disney is what they call it at Disneyland. They still call it downtown Disney. So it's literally all right there together, which is actually super cool because if you want downtime from the parks, hop on over to downtown Disney because it's right there.
Yeah. Oh, it's a blast too. That was something else. I'm glad you brought that up. That was something else I was going to mention. Let's see, just real quick, back to the comments. Big Disney fan says there's fries that have cheese and mushroom sauce in the secret menu. Interesting. Not a big fan of mushrooms, but Jillian does like mushrooms.
I do.
Welcome in, JLB Nerdy. Glad you could make it. We're talking about Disneyland tonight, and so feel free to jump in if you've been. Also, let's see here. Let's see. Big Disney fan says, I think at Walt Disney World, they scan your magic band when it rides down, and you had that you can ride fast pass. Yeah.
Yeah. About the same at Disneyland. It doesn't happen it's never happened to me at Disney World, and I've been probably 5 times. And not like about 6 years. So, but Disneyland, that was something that we were like, whoa, this happens here. But they fix the problem really fast. They get you back on, they get you your fast pass, and they really make you feel like it's going to be okay. You're not going to miss anything on your trip. So
welcome into the stream, Mom. Glad you could make it to watch. And look forward to hopefully maybe you can hop on be back on next week. For those that don't know, we mentioned it earlier in the stream. For those who may have hopped in later, Mom's traveling, and so she wasn't able to hop onto the stream tonight, but she's here in the comments. So she is more than with us in spirit. She is with us in the comments. So welcome in, Mom. It feels funny to see you in the comments. Rising Moons. That's a little bit of Galaxy's Edge speak there. But welcome into everybody who's hopping into the stream now.
Still talking about Disneyland. We've gone over a little bit of our trip planning from our trip in 2017. So we did go when it was still Paradise Pier. There wasn't.
It hadn't been updated to Pixar Pier yet.
There wasn't any of the Star Wars stuff there. There was a little bit, but there wasn't Galaxy's Edge open yet. We still got to see the Bugs Life section.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one, which was super cool because I think that's a very underrated movie. And I'm sad to see it go, but I know that they'll do great things with Avengers and stuff there.
Oh, yeah, the Avengers campus is going to be awesome. But A Bug's Land, I'm so glad we got to see it. Because we both enjoy that movie. It's fun to, feel like you're shrunk down to the size of a bug. And it was a great section for kids rides. We even rode a few of
the kids rides because there was some downtime. And this is in the California Adventure part. It was by Cars Land. So we wanted to ride some things in the car section, but it was a little newer than anything else there. It was its newest attraction when we went. So we couldn't get a fast pass. The lines were long. So we were like, let's just walk through the Bugs Life section. And we came upon like a couple of kid rides and they were super fun. I enjoyed it. So, and so another thing you can do at Disneyland on your downtime is they have the Animators Academy.
Oh, yes.
And we honestly wouldn't have known about it, except we kind of stopped and talked to a cast member for a while. We just told her, we've never been here before. What do you recommend? And it was a really cool thing to do when we wanted some downtime. So I think the location of it changes a little bit. So you kind of have to find it. But for us, we did the Finding Nemo. Was it the Crush?
Let's see. The Animation Academy.
Yeah, we went to
We did Pluto.
No, we went to do. It's in the same building as where the Crush.
Oh, yeah.
Where Crush's talk thing is.
Yeah.
So we did that first, and then we went to go wait in line to do the Animation Academy. But yeah, we did Pluto, Winnie the Pooh.
I think that's all we did.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So we did
a blast,
you can go and look at the schedule they have posted too, because every 45 minutes the character is different.
Yeah.
So if you really want to draw one specific character, go there first, look at the schedule, and kind of schedule your day around what you want to do. So
yeah, there's all sorts of different characters. I think they had maybe Baby Groot was another one, Baymax, various other characters that they have different classes for.
Yeah.
And so we really enjoed that. And it was free.
It was
which
free.
is also huge.
Yes.
We got a nice, pretty large sized piece of paper with our own drawing on it that we learned from a Disney animator. So I mean, that's
something that you can definitely have framed at Hobby Lobby or something and hang up on your wall, which we intend on doing that in our guest bedroom. I kind of have a Mickey Mouse theme going in our guest bedroom, so we do plan on keeping those, and if you're afraid because you're not a good artist, don't be, because ours turned out looking exactly like the characters that you see in the cartoons. So just don't let it freak you out. There were even kids in there doing it with us, and I think some of the kids drew better than I did. Yeah,
it was really impressive. I mean, I don't feel like I have any sort of artistic ability, even a little bit. And so if I could, draw Pluto and it actually looks like Pluto, that says a lot for the animator. And we just had a blast with it.
We did. It was fun.
And so another one, I was going to mention too. You talked about Downtown Disney earlier.
Yes.
There's different things you can do there. We really had a blast. Something we did that I would suggest is, we got in.
Yeah.
And we got in a little bit later in the evening on the first day of our trip, and we decided to go scout out the different merchandise that they have at the shops there at Downtown Disney. They have a Lego store. There's different pin stands. There's it's similar to World of Disney. Is it called World of Disney? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember either. It looks like similar, World of Disney.
Yeah, for those familiar with Disney World.
Yeah, they have
Disney
a Pandora store, a Coach store, a Veer. So they have all of your high scale.
Cafe.
Yeah, they have your high scale stuff, and then there was an ESPN sports bar there too. So we didn't waste any time. Don't waste any time. If you get there at 7 o'clock in the evening.
I think it's open till 1 or 2 in the morning. Yeah,
it's open really late. So don't waste any time. Just go straight to Downtown Disney. We just walked over.
Yeah.
So
we evaluated the merchandise situation. There was some stuff that we saw there that we didn't see in the parks.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of made a mental note. It's okay, I really like that. If I don't see it in the parks, I can remember and come back, at the end of the trip and get it.
Yeah, which was great about Disneyland is that I felt like every store you walked into, whether it be in the parks or Downtown Disney, you saw different things.
Yeah.
The merchandise was not the same in every store, and I think you talked a little bit about that last week.
Yeah.
But these ears, you could only find in one place, and I had to hunt them down.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes at Disney World, you see the same stuff over and over and over again. So that was pretty cool about Disneyland. Everything was different, which honestly just made you want to buy more stuff, to be honest. So they probably did that on purpose.
So definitely check out, if you make the trip to Disneyland, definitely check out Downtown Disney. It maybe at the beginning of your trip or at the end, in case you're thinking, oh man, I forgot to get my friend, a souvenir. It's a good place to hit on your way out. We
did that too. We ate there, and then we left from there to go to the airport. So, and like you said, we flew right in, went to our hotel, kind of freshened up a little bit, walked down to downtown Disney, did some shopping first, and then we ended our trip there. So
yeah, it was good too because it helped us figure out, kind of our path to get to the park as well.
Yes.
And so we were able, that first day, boom, we knew exactly where to go. So.
Which was good that we did that because we kept passing entrances that looked like the entrance to the park. And so we were like, oh, we're there. And then we're like, no, that's where the cast members park. So we had to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think we tried to turn into cast member parking probably 3 or 4 times. And then we ended up at the actual Disneyland sign, and we were like, I guess this is it, maybe. So we went ahead and went on in, and the buses are there first. And then you walk through security, and then there's 3 different sections. So you can kind of find your way around there, so that was good. If you intend on walking and you've never been there before, scope out what you're doing first so that when you get there in the morning, you know what you're doing.
It's good to have a game plan.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Mom's hitchhiking tonight. Scrolling down here, looking through the comments. We're also very excited for the Avengers campus. Let's see. Big Disney fan says they'll ride the bus to Magic Kingdom and might be able to ride the monorail from Magic Kingdom to Epcot. Yep, you can do that and ride the Skyliner from Epcot to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, the monorail is the best way, in my opinion, to get from Magic Kingdom to Epcot.
Oh, yeah.
And now they have that Skyliner to Epcot to Hollywood Studios. So, in my opinion, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Let's see here. JLB Nerdy says, we're waiting for Marvel Land to open up before we make a trip from Tennessee to California. That's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee is substantially closer to Walt Disney World in Florida than it is to Disneyland in California. So, I mean, definitely, if you're going to make the trip, I know, I want to say, where was it we were thinking about going, and they were just about to open something up, and we ended up waiting. I can't remember which park it was. But we held off on making a trip to one of them because they were about to open something up. And so, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're a huge Avengers fan, I mean, it'd be 100% worth waiting to go for Marvel Land to be open. So, yeah, if you're going to make that longer trip, pay a little extra money, then you definitely want to get in more experience for sure. Let's see here. Looking through the comments. And I think we're good on the comments. I'm glad. Yeah, I think we're all caught up there. I'm glad to see some chatter. Y'all talking amongst yourselves, and thanks for being on the stream and watching with us. But so we were able to check out downtown Disney and kind of pick up some souvenirs at the end of our trip. I think I spent a whole lot of money on pins.
Downtown Disney has way more pins, I feel like, than the actual park. If you go to the very back where the Rainforest Cafe is, and there's also a movie theater there as well. Yeah. So you've kind of got all of that in the very back, which is where the parking is. Store too. Yeah, the parking. If you drive your car, the parking is back there as well. And if you eat at downtown Disney, they will They validate your parking ticket so you don't have to pay for parking. That was a good thing that we did.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so we didn't have to pay for parking really anywhere. We went because we parked valet, which the valet was by tip only. Mm-hmm. So you could kind of tip the valet guy whatever you wanted. So we parked at the hotel, so we didn't have to pay for parking in the parks. Mm-hmm. And then when we left, we were going to eat anyway, so it's not like we were spending anything extra to have our ticket validated. And then we got free parking at downtown Disney. Yeah. We did eat at downtown Disney.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember what it was called, though. It was in the middle.
Yeah, we had the Rainforest Cafe, and then
the first night.
Yeah.
And then when we were on our way out, I think we just wanted something lighter. Yeah. Because we were leaving at kind of an unusual time. It wasn't really lunch or dinner time. It was in the middle. But I remember you walked past, there was a fountain area. I think you walked past the Ghirardelli. It was more so in the middle where these stores kind of went out. Yeah, and there was a restaurant in the very middle. Yeah. So we ate outside. And it was delicious from what I remember. I think we just got something lighter to fill us up until we got home. Yeah. So
So let's see here. JLB Nerdy says, where did you guys stay? We stayed at the Holiday Inn Suites there. It's just to the right of the parks there at Disneyland. And
it's one of the first hotels from
right off
the exit. So you just exit, and I think it actually was the first hotel on that drive. When we went, there may be more there now, but we opted to walk a little bit further, which was okay. It worked out. So
yeah, it was great. And so let's see, just going back into it. So we talked a little bit earlier about the Max Pass. So that allows you, I think the price has since gone up to $20 a day per person. Whenever we went, it was just $15 a day per person. That gave you all your photo pass pictures from the day. And then it also allowed us to do fast passes on our app instead of having to go to each fast pass station, put our ticket in, and get the stub out, that paper fast pass. So it was definitely worth it for us because we covered a lot of ground.
If you're local and you go all the time, you don't need to spend that extra money. But for us, we were like, this is our first time. Who knows when we'll be back. So we went ahead and spent the extra money. And like we said, at Disneyland at least, we hit every major ride basically before lunchtime.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean,
we rode Indiana Jones on the 3 days we were there. We probably rode Indiana Jones like 10 times because it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So that Max Pass really gets you the best of what Disneyland has to offer ride-wise.
For sure. So just thinking about it, thinking back, do you have a favorite attraction that you rode at Disneyland? Maybe split it up into parts.
I know.
If that makes it easier.
It's really hard. So Disneyland is kind of like Magic Kingdom. It's the Magic Kingdom version of Disneyland and California Adventure. So at the Disneyland part, I found it so interesting that there's still like the Matterhorn, which is called what is it called at Disney World? I just lost my train of thought. The Matterhorn is at Disneyland.
Expedition Everest
is at Animal Kingdom. So it's kind of the same thing. And then you've got Spaceship Earth, which is called Spaceship Earth in both places, Disneyland and Disney World. But what I found really, really, really interesting is that they're similar but different. The Matterhorn at Disneyland is the bobsled, as to where at Disney World, you're in a bobsled-ish type vehicle riding Spaceship Earth. So to me, the differences, but the similarities were what caught my attention. The same with It's a Small World, which is one of my favorite rides, but I loved everything about it at Disneyland. The Disneyland Small Ride is probably my favorite. And I know that when they did this, a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved going through the different countries and seeing like Lilo and Stitch were there in Hawaii. And I loved seeing Mushu and Mulan in Japan or in China, stuff like that. Like, I thought that was super cool. And for me, it didn't change anything about the ride. It just made it a bigger experience because we were like, oh, look, there's Mushu. Yeah. Oh, look, Aladdin's up there.
It didn't compromise the integrity of the ride.
No, not at all.
It didn't, I guess, negatively impact the experience. Because I can remember when that news article first came out, I was like, really? They're going to have characters in It's a Small World? Do they really need to? And after writing it, I was like, it was tastefully done.
It was.
They don't stick out like a sore thumb. It's kind of like almost like a Where's Waldo type situation.
Yeah, it was super cool
to look for them.
So those were kind of my favorite things to do at the Disneyland part, which again is kind of like the Magic Kingdom if you're at Disney World, and then jump over to California Adventure, which I would say is most closely related to Hollywood Studios. There are some similarities. There are some differences. Yeah. But when we went there, I know a lot of people liked, I know you liked the roller coaster there, which was something, it's called Incredicoaster.
Streaming.
Yeah, it's called Incredicoaster now. We went before it was Pixar Pier. It was super fun, but I will tell you that Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout which we got to ride, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, I know for sure we rode it twice.
We waited in line one time just to see the line queue, which was worth it. It was a long wait, but it was worth it to see the line queue. And then we did fast passes twice for it. And I will tell you, even one time when we did a fast pass, we waited in line probably 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the ride was newer at that point.
Yep.
So what we did is we, got in line. I wasn't so sure about it at first. Like they said on the stream last week, for anyone who's new this week, I was like, why would they even consider changing the Tower of Terror into something different? I mean, you're in California. It's the Hollywood Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
It really got me going. But I'm going to tell you, I did not even care one bit after coming off that ride. That ride was incredible. Yeah. It was so much fun. The songs were amazing.
Yeah, what was it? Free Ride, yeah. I think was one that we got song, and was it Hooka Hooka Burning Love?
Yes, and then I think one of them was the Jackson 5 song.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's the songs that made the ride different each time. And even though it's the same, like you said, you're going up and down.
It's just an up and down motion.
But it felt so much more intense than Tower of Terror because you're watching the screen, the actors are there, the music is going, so you're really amped up. So they did such a good job with that ride, and not to mention the outside of the ride is probably the first thing that you can see because it's ginormous.
Yeah, it's huge.
So to me, that was probably the best part of California Adventure. Now, the car section was amazing.
Yeah.
And I loved everything about it. It was so cool. But again, if I had to ride one ride the whole time I was at Disneyland, it would probably be Guardians Mission Breakout.
It is really cool.
It's really cool.
I'm looking forward to riding the Incredicoaster. Since that ride, was overlaid from California Screamin' to the Incredicoaster. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I would be really torn. I would have a tough time not riding Radiator Springs Racers. As much as I love Mission Breakout, it's just so cool, the Radiator Springs Racers.
It is.
Now, if you're riding the same ride the whole time, I do think Guardians would be a good choice because they plays different songs.
Yeah.
I think there's 7 or 8, maybe even 9 different songs.
Each door
elevator.
Each elevator that they have is a different song. So we got lucky that each time we rode it, we got a different song.
Yeah, it shuffles.
But that was what was really cool about it.
But yeah. But Radiator Springs Racers was incredible. Just had a blast with that. We had to do that first thing. If you're going to Disneyland, making a trip to Disneyland, or you're going to California Adventure, you've got to go first thing because the wait time for Radiator Springs Racers can get pretty busy.
And I think the fast passes were even booked up when we walked in the California Adventure. We got out of our phones immediately and tried to make a fast pass. They were all booked up.
Yeah. And so another suggestion, too, is on your way, if you're going first thing to get in line for Radiator Springs Racers, we got breakfast at Flo's on our way.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Which was recommended by a cast member.
Actually, speaking of that, I just remembered a little bit of show and tell. This is us in front of Flo's V8 Cafe there in Carsland. So I'm trying to keep from getting the glare. Got a little bit of glare there, but that's us. And so last week I wore the Mater hat. So check out if you want to, even more Disneyland talk after tonight. Check out last week's stream if you want to see me in a Mater hat, and also hear some very good discussion on our experiences. Mom was on the stream last week, and so if you want to hear some of her experiences at Disneyland too. Check that out. Also, I've got another picture.
For anyone who didn't hear at the beginning, we went at Christmas time for my birthday. It was around the week of December 8th, so we were there for a couple days at the beginning of December. So we got to see some of the Christmas decorations at Disneyland.
Yeah, so this is us with the snow car right there next to the entrance to Cars Land.
Which again, this is when your Max Pass comes in handy.
Oh yeah.
Because the Cars section, right when you walk in, it has a big greetings from Radiator Springs sign, just like the movie. So I was looking through my pictures before this stream. I would say we probably got like 10 pictures. And they take their time with it too. Like the line was long, but each person gets probably 10, 15 pictures from that one experience. Yeah. And they pose you in different ways. And so it was really cool to get to go at Christmas time because we got all the Christmas overlays as well. So the Mater ride was Christmas themed.
Yeah, it's the Junkyard Jamboree.
The Luigi
or the
ride.
Jingle Jamboree.
The Jingle
it's
Jamboree.
usually called the Junkyard Jamboree.
Luigi, his ride was Christmas themed as well.
And it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We watched it. We were kind of like, that's interesting. And then once we got on the Luigi ride, and the cars are all doing their synchronized dancing, and you're watching the people across from you, and you're laughing like with each other and kind of at each other, and because you're all just
you're in a
around
car.
In the car.
You're in a car, but the car is dancing on a track. But the track is similar. We haven't ridden Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad.
Yeah, it's a trackless system.
It's a trackless system. It's kind of the same thing as the Luigi ride. So you're and you don't know what's going to come next. But everyone was giggling and laughing. Like, we didn't even know who was next to us, but we're all giggling and laughing at each other. Yeah. Because I bet we just looked ridiculous. But it was so much fun. In Cars Land, you can... they did like a parade type thing in Cars Land.
Yeah, where
DJ actually comes through.
Yeah, and he's playing music over the speakers. Yeah, and it was pretty neat.
So there were probably 3 cars that we saw that DJ was playing the music. It was a little more Christmas themed because, again, of the holidays. But that
Mater was wearing a big Santa hat.
Yeah, Mater was wearing a big Santa hat.
The picture that we have with Mater.
So it was super cool to see the overlay in Cars Land. Everything was decorated with traffic cones or the white rimmed tires or the oil cans. And then like the lights, the Christmas lights were like headlights. So it was super cool to see that overlay.
It was so well done. We really did have a blast with it.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Cars Land if you're going to make the trip out there because it's worth every minute.
Yes.
Let's see here. Just running through the comments, and let's see. Big Disney fan says they're gonna get the Memory Maker to get pics from rides.
Yes.
That's great. It's a great idea. I will say one that's interesting. If you're going to Walt Disney World, if you ride the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I mean, it's just. I don't know how they do it.
Disney knows where you are at all times.
Yes. And so we have never scanned our Magic Band for that ride, but somehow it knows how to, I don't know if it's just some sort of like near field communication with your Magic Band or what, but it somehow like knows that you rode that ride and it took your picture and it then like creates a little video and everything. And it syncs it to your My Disney Experience account.
Most of the rides at Walt Disney World, when you walk off the ride, you scan your band. Yeah. It gives you your picture. Mm-hmm. Not on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
I still don't know how they do it.
They know where you are at all times.
It's amazing and kind of scary, but also really cool. So yeah, definitely, it's great usage of the Memory Maker to get those, those ride pictures. Some of them are really funny. Another funny ride picture that sticks out in my mind is there's actually 2. One is a throwback for me to high school, where me and my friends are all terrified of the dinosaur ride, and we're all like cringing and trying to like keep the dinosaur from eating us. Also, I went with my friends. Their last names are the Posies and McKinneys. And I have another picture that looks pretty much the exact same, where we're all trying not to get eaten on the dinosaur ride. But this other one, and me and Jillian were riding Frozen for the first time.
This is literally the best picture ever. And one day we'll show it on the stream.
We'll have to post it to the.
This is why you get
our social media
a Memory Maker at either park, because this was at Walt Disney World when we took this picture.
Yeah, and so we're riding the Frozen ride. What's the actual name of the ride? It's in Epcot.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not.
It's in the Norway part. Yeah. I think it's just Frozen. It just says Frozen on it, doesn't it?
I can't remember.
But we had already ridden it like 3 times. It's kind of a kid ride. It's amazing.
It's really pretty.
But it's a kid ride.
Yeah. And it's
like 11 p.m. at night.
The part where it takes your picture, there's like this tiny drop.
Tiny drop.
Other people in the picture are like, oh, yeah. And Jillian and I were like, oh, me. And that picture kills me every time. And it's hilarious because we went on a trip with my family in celebration of my little brother's graduation. And there is a picture of my dad and my little brother with the exact same expressions that Jillian and I had riding the ride. And we're just...
When you've done Disney for like 14 hours straight and you've already ridden a ride like 6 times, you're kind of like, whoa. Like at that point in our day, I think we were literally just riding rides to like waste time until the park closes because no matter what.
We're just trying to get it in.
We're there, open to close no matter what. So at that point, we'll just ride anything to get some time in.
Oh, me.
So.
Yeah, good tip here from Mom. If you buy the Memory Maker before your trip, there is a bit of a discount. So that's good advice for Big Disney fan. Looking here too. Let's see here. Big Disney fan says they want to start off at Magic Kingdom. They want to ride Space Mountain or Splash Mountain. And before they do other rides and attractions, so you can dry off. That's a good idea. Sometimes you can get soaked on Splash Mountain, and other times you don't get that wet at all. So it's hard to really gauge it.
Which is a good point if you're going to Disneyland and you want to ride Pirates.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you.
Tip.
I'm going to tell you, Pirates at Disneyland is different than Disney World. And my mom warned me that you would get soaked.
I wasn't ready.
I didn't believe her.
Yeah. I was not prepared. I was used to riding Pirates and never, ever hardly getting wet. I mean, at Disney World, you just kind of go down the big drop. There's just one drop at Disney World. And so, we went down the one drop, and it's like, okay, there's cannon fire all around. I will say, I believe they've cranked up the intensity of the cannonball fire at a Disney World.
Yes.
Because I definitely got a little bit wet last time I rode it.
Yeah.
So Disney I think they have turned it up a little bit.
But at Disneyland,
my bottom got soaked. My shorts were wet.
We were soaked from like the waist down, and we weren't expecting that.
And then we went to lunch after that. So, we felt bad.
To be completely honest, you've got to think about that because we went in December, and it is chilly in California,
especially
in December, especially at night. So if you want to get wet, do it in the morning. Have time to dry off. Before you do other things, and don't do it at night in December or January because it is still cold there. So that is a good tip that we did not know. For anybody who's never been.
For that.
Yes, it is really cool. Pirates is another one where you get Pirates different at Disneyland than Disney World.
It's a longer ride. It is
a lot longer. It's got 2 drops. The scenery is even a bit different. So it's really cool to see the difference between some Disney originals on both sides of the country.
That was Pirates was the last ride that Walt worked on before he passed away. And he'd start, they had discussions on the Haunted Mansion, but they, over at Disneyland, they had discussions on the Haunted Mansion, but didn't get it finished before he passed away. And so, they even sat, a bit kind of almost abandoned for a little bit. That building did. That's just kind of a fun little Disney fact there. But Pirates was, I believe, the last ride that Walt worked on, and saw through in its entirety. So it was really cool to ride it at Disneyland.
Yeah. I feel like, too, when we were riding that ride, and when we were riding Haunted Mansion and you're riding all the Disney original rides, you think to yourself, like, this is actually something that Disney himself worked on, which was different from being at Disney World. Even though they're the same but different, you're like, at Disneyland, Disney himself actually worked on these things, which makes it that much cooler, in my opinion.
For sure. I agree 100%. Jane in Travels, you're late. Hey, better late than never. We're glad you're here on the stream chatting with us. So welcome in. Thank you so much for hopping into the stream tonight. Let's see here. I'm trying not to miss anything. Let's see here. looking here. Just a little bit of chatter. Sorry, but haven't been a great job of monitoring the comments. It looks like you guys are talking amongst yourselves.
They're talking amongst themselves. So.
And so, let's see here. Scrolling through. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything.
Frozen Ever After.
Oh, Frozen Ever After. See, that's what popped into my head. Popped in my mind. But it just didn't sound right.
No.
So thank you to JLB Nerdy for providing us with the name of the ride. Also, welcome in to Alyssa Stenberg. Hopefully I said that right. Thanks for hopping onto the stream tonight. Mom says rope drop to kiss goodnight. Yeah. That's the only way to do it in our family.
Where is the Mater hat, Garrett? Where is it?
Yeah, the Mater hat is actually off camera right now. It's in the room with me. I'm just not wearing it tonight.
Yeah.
So sorry to disappoint. But thanks for watching the stream, Garrett. Glad you're here.
Garrett's a really good friend of ours. He lives down the street. Him and his wife, and Garrett's never been to Disney World before, so we're planning a trip in September. And hopefully we'll get to go because of the coronavirus. We're hoping we'll get to go and it'll all be normal. So,
yeah, thanks for watching JLB Nerdy. I know you said that you're headed. Got to hit the sack. It does get pretty late, but thanks. Hope you have a great night too. Thanks for hopping in, chatting with us. It was a lot of fun. But let's see here.
While you're looking through the chats, the shows are something that are a little different at Disneyland and Disney World. I would say Disneyland was not set up for all these shows that they have added on throughout the years. Fantasmic is one of my absolute favorite shows that I've ever seen. And when you go to Disney World, it's in Hollywood Studios.
It has a dedicated
spot,
seating.
a theater, seating. Mm-hmm. You can even do the dessert.
Mama Melrose dessert
Mama Melrose dessert party and dinner party. So that way you get first dibs with seating, which we actually have signed up for the Mama Melrose dessert party when we go in September. Since we have kids, it'll be a good way to guarantee that we have a spot in the show so we're not waiting.
Yeah.
But when we went to Disneyland, there's not really a dedicated spot for it. I would say it's like Tom Sawyer's Island is where they have it. It's really small. There's really not any seating.
You're only supposed to stand in certain areas as well.
And the cast members will tell you
and they'll let you know. So basically, we were a little bit late.
Yeah, because we didn't know this. This was our first time here. We thought you could just show up and sit down.
Yeah.
Not the case.
We walked over. I think were there 2 showings that night of Fantasmic?
Yeah, I think they do 2 or 3 showings a night.
And we caught the first one, but we were way off to the right of where everything happens.
We were basically so far off from the pond area that we were seeing them at the floats as they were going in and out. Kind of
entering into the show. And so, we watched it from over there. And then for the second show, we found a spot and basically ended up like hugging onto some trash cans
literally
to stay out of the walkway.
Yeah. But the cast member told us.
We asked them whether or not it was
we were in a wrong spot to a cast member. Yeah. They told us to move. So we were like this on a trash can. And the cast member was like, you can stay there because you're not in the walkway. Yeah. We were up against a brick wall kind of thing, and it's in New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
So we were like this on a trash can, but it's not designed for shows, in my opinion. Yeah. I think when Disneyland was built, that was probably something that Disney World did it. So now Disneyland's doing it.
Yeah, we'd have to check the timing on it.
Yeah, and it was cramped. Yeah. But I will say
it was really cool. It's a very different experience.
It was very different.
The dragon, the Maleficent dragon, spoiler alert for those that haven't seen the Fantasmic show, is substantially different at Disneyland than it is at Disney World at Hollywood Studios.
Disneyland also has the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Super cool. And for me, a big Pirates nerd, I was so pumped whenever the ship came by and there was a Pirates themed section. And so
which makes
was
sense
really neat.
Because you're by the Pirates ride, It's all kind of right there. So that was super cool. I'm a huge Jack Sparrow fan. And I will say the Jack Sparrow was on the ship and he talked and he sounded.
It was like live acting.
Like it was Johnny Depp himself there. So that was pretty cool.
Also, it's Caw. Caw is at Disneyland. And then Jafar the snake is at Disney World.
Yeah.
Is another difference. So there's a Jungle Book section where you see a large snake come out on stage.
Yes.
And it's Caw, from the Jungle Book at Disneyland, and then it's Jafar in snake form. At
so there are differences. Yeah. The music, the overall bum, dun 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 is the same. Mickey himself is the same, but there are a few differences. So it was super cool to see again the variations of everything. So again, that's my favorite. It's like my favorite show. I would miss.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, I would miss a lot of stuff to see that show, for real. It's awesome.
I mean, it captures the magic 100%. Yes. And we didn't get to see the fireworks show because there were wildfires going on. We
were there in 2017 when the wildfires were really bad towards the end of the year.
And so we didn't get to see the show because it was too windy that night. So we were bummed. Yeah,
because Disneyland, if people don't know, is not like Disney World. Yeah. They're up right against neighborhoods.
Yep.
So I was a little irritated, but the wind was heavy.
Yeah.
And if they set off a firework, it could easily end up in somebody's backyard or a hotel or a eating establishment. So they have to be really cautious of what goes on. Yeah. Now, they did still play music and it snowed towards the end of the night. But they make far enough, announcements so that about an hour out, they were like, just be advised the show may not happen.
Yeah.
So Will and we went to go get something to eat. And then we were like, well, we can just work our way over there. And if the show's canceled, we'll just go ride a ride instead. Yeah. So they're really good about their communication there so that you don't just wait there and nothing happens. Yeah. So another show that we did, which is totally unique to Disneyland California Adventure, is the World of Color.
Yeah.
And again, it was the overlay. So we got the Christmas themed music.
So much fun.
It was really fun. But a little tip about that one too is that when you walk in, you have to go to the very back by Ariel's ride. Mm-hmm. And you have to get your, ticket to see the show. Yeah. That show is kind of blocked off.
Yeah, there's different colors, I believe.
And so so when you get there, if you want to go to World of Color, you need to go get your ticket to do that. And even
to have a better viewing area.
Yeah. And even so, again, it goes back to Disneyland and their shows. Yeah. There was still a light post right in our view, even though we got our ticket so early in the day. So, and I know I think your mom got a better view when she was there than we did. So it kind of is just a luck of the draw there. Again, another tip too is when World of Color is going on, they shut down the rides on Pixar Pier. Yeah. Because the rides are part of the show. So the Mickey's Fun Wheel lights up with the show. The roller coaster, which is the Incredicoaster now, lights up with the show. And they shut down the rides off to the right so that it's not in the way and you're not hearing the music and you're not hearing and seeing the lights while the show is going on.
Yeah. Another thing worth mentioning was Mom, where they stood, it was a little bit chilly, but she also didn't want to get wet, and so she had purchased a poncho before going into the park. Yeah, that is something definitely. If you've got a park bag, buy those cheap, a poncho from like a Walmart or somewhere like that outside of the parks, because the ponchos are a bit overpriced in the parks.
Yeah.
So you
don't want to spend your money on a poncho. Exactly. You want to spend it on a souvenir.
Yeah, and so we've purchased ponchos in the park before, but definitely. That money could be spent elsewhere. So
I would say you need one whether or not you're at Disneyland or Disney World, because at Disney World, it doesn't ever fail. At like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to get a shower and it'll stop in 5 minutes.
Yeah. And so it's always better to be prepared. Also, you don't want to be caught off guard because usually that does end up costing you.
I've even seen people wear their ponchos on rides, like that they want to ride, but like they don't want to get wet.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's another way to use it too. But yeah, she just she had that tiny little poncho folded up in her purse in the little bag and was able to pull it out. And she put it on and she didn't get wet from watching World of Color. So it's another good tip too. Trying to think, is there anything else you want to kind of highlight? We're at the hour mark. Time just got away from us.
I know, an hour went really fast.
Yeah.
Disneyland is amazing.
Yeah.
And I honestly, a lot of people say that if you haven't been to either park, I've heard you should always go to Disneyland first, just because it is smaller, so that when you walk into Disneyland, the castle is so small, it kind of isn't the first thing that draws your attention. But as Disney World, that castle is so huge, you can see it before you even enter the park.
Yeah.
And so there are some differences, but honestly, I liked going to Disney World first. And then Disneyland, because you really saw the difference between the two. And I would say when you're going to Disneyland, 2 days could be enough if it's just like 2 adults going.
Yeah.
We hit every major ride in 2 days, but we did 2 days of parks. We took a day off to go to the beach, hang out with some family friends.
Yeah.
And then we went back the 3rd day and we did some things that we just wanted to do again. We did some shopping. We did some eating.
It felt
stuff like
just
that.
right.
Yeah, it was enough. And that rest day that we got, I don't think we realized how much we needed it because we ended up sleeping until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And we woke up and we were like, what happened with the day?
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, definitely. Any other, specific Disneyland memories that you have or want to share? I know you got to meet Pocahontas there at Disneyland.
We did, which I think we've talked a little bit about Disneyland and the characters. So Disney World, they have it set up now where you kind of have to wait in line to meet a character at a distinctive location.
Yeah.
Disneyland, we were like, whoa, why are all these characters just kind of walking around? And some of them didn't even have a cast member with them. They were literally just walking around, which I would say was cool, but frustrating at the same time because we showed up to see Aladdin at his designated location, and we were told he wasn't there because he was off doing stuff. Like they come up with something to tell you what they're doing. So we went. We saw Moana. But as we were leaving, we saw Moana walk through, but that she was not taking pictures or signing autographs because Moana was on an adventure. Yeah. So we got to see her, but we didn't get to actually stop. I was a little bummed because I was wearing my Maui shirt, and I was really hoping to get a picture with Moana in my Maui shirt. Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. I definitely. It was definitely worth it, especially to watch, those kids playing with Moana. Yeah. And she's kind of guiding them around and showing them things in Adventureland. So it was really cute. Yeah. We got to see, who was it, Maleficent? Was it Maleficent or the Evil Queen? It was the Evil Queen. We were getting in line to ride the Alice in Wonderland ride, and the Evil Queen just, appeared out of nowhere behind us, and I was, legitimately freaked out, and she was just walking through the park. Yeah, I saw Dr. Facilier walking through the park also. And that was super cool because he was walking through New Orleans Square. And he kind of came out of an alley. He was in character too. Yeah. He was kind of terrifying as well. So yeah, it was very cool. We saw a lot of different characters. It was neat because it was, for me, it was kind of a throwback to some of those commercials back in the day. Where the kids sitting on the bench, and then all of a sudden Mickey Mouse shows up to see the kids. So it makes their day. It was really fun to watch. But we met some really cool characters there too, and had a great time. Yes. Anything else stick out to you? Disneyland does the Food and Wine Festival as well. We didn't even know it was going on when we were there. No, we didn't. And so we planned out all of our meals, but we still snacked. We snacked on a couple things there. So that's a really good option. Make sure you look into
what
events are going on before you go, because we had no idea. It was December. We weren't thinking that anything would be going on because of the holidays and stuff. But that was kind of a nice surprise. And again, their Food and Wine Fest is set up in California Adventure right as you're exiting the Cars Land section of the park. So but I could go on and on about Disneyland. I really want to go back. It was so much fun, and I'm sure
we'll talk about it in the future too. I'm sure, because there's still. I mean, we could talk about restaurants.
Yes.
We could talk about some of the other rides like the Monsters Inc. ride and some of the other rides that are kind of exclusive to the parks in California.
Yeah.
But definitely. Thinking about it, we went 3 days, and that's before they had Galaxy's Edge.
I would say now you probably need 4 days because of Galaxy's Edge.
Exactly, especially if you're a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Also, too, with Avengers Campus that's going to be opening, that's going to draw a lot of people to the park too. So
yes,
I definitely feel like 3 days is a sweet spot. And then next time we go, we'll be able to give updated feedback. That this stuff will be opened up. So also a little bit of Disney news. We've seen news last week that Legoland will be opening, I believe, June 1st. And then I want to say, Universal in Orlando is opening to everyone on June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
First, I believe June 1st and 2nd are kind of prep days for the employees. And then the 3rd and 4th are open to pass holders. And then the 5th is open to the general public. So
at Universal on the walk, you will be required to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. You will do temperature checks. We aren't sure about if they're requiring masks in the park for Universal as of yet. So if anyone knows, drop a comment and let us know. We were curious about that today. But
also, too, I believe tomorrow, around 10 in the morning, Disney's supposed to present their full plan of reopening. So
I think that they've already
It has to be approved, I think, by the mayor and the city and the task force, and then it goes to the governor.
Yes.
And so...
And I think we've already heard some information from the task force about how it will be opened and how the phases. There's three phases of opening, and I think they've already done the first phase because that was Disney Springs.
Yeah.
So we're looking at opening Disney World into the 2nd and 3rd phase of reopening already. So that's good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their plan is. Kind of see. We've thought about it and talked about it off stream, about, for instance, a lot of the people that work in Epcot are from other countries, in order to, celebrate kind of the culture and heritage, to be able to talk with somebody who's actually from, whether it's Mexico or China or Japan or, Canada, Norway. And so it'll be interesting to see, how they open up and what parks they decide to open up first.
I have read articles that said that Epcot will be the hardest park to open and that it probably will be the last park to open. So it wouldn't really shock me if they open up Magic Kingdom first, just to see how it goes. I mean, that eliminates a lot of the park hopping. That also eliminates, I feel like, a lot of travelers too. So I'm interested to see how they're going to open. I know that Disney does such a great job with things like that Six Flags Over Texas here and in Texas announced that they would be following Disney protocols when opening their parks.
Yeah.
So that tells you everything you need to know about how other theme parks look at Disney.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. So let's see, any other Disney news you can think of?
That's all I've heard right now.
That's the most anticipated news for sure.
There's some things that we've been checking out on Disney Plus. So we have a lot of time to watch Disney Plus. The newest one is called Zenimation.
Yeah.
And honestly, I opened it up to watch it because I thought it was going to be, I don't know, kind of how the animation process is done. It ended up being a kind of a zen, calming thing to watch before nap time or bedtime. So actually today we put our son in front of it while he was eating his lunch to watch the Zenimation. And Will looked at me and he said, I'm getting kind of tired from this. So it's literally different animations from different movies all put into one theme. And you can watch all the water at once, and it's super interesting.
Cityscapes and flying. There's different themes.
they strip all the talking out of the movie.
Yeah.
You're literally listening to the background noise only from those scenes of the movie. So that's something new that they just added to check out.
Another one that we had fun with that we didn't necessarily binge, but I guess kind of almost binged a little bit because we watched several episodes at once, was Prop Culture. Really enjoyed that. I think Mom and I talked about it last week and kind of teased it a little bit. That first episode with Mary Poppins is really excellent. Some other episodes are Tron and the Muppets movie, the
Pirates of the Caribbean.
One. Yeah, the Curse of the Black Pearl. Yeah. Let's see, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
The good thing
really
about
cool also.
The good thing about these series is that if you don't like a certain movie or a certain topic, you can skip that one. I think we skipped one because we weren't interested in it.
I haven't watched it yet. I probably will go back and watch it. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, I've never seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so I was like, I don't feel like I need to watch that, but he'll probably go back and watch it. But that was what was really cool to this individual show.
I hope there's more episodes.
I do too.
Because we really enjoyed what we saw. The host is really good. To see people reconnected with these old props from years ago, in some cases, especially Mary Poppins and Tron, was really neat.
It was cool.
to kind of take people back, thinking about, they had so much fun during the filming or animation, and it's really neat.
Yes.
So really cool show to watch. I think there's more episodes of the Mandalorian art show as well. Disney Gallery making of Mandalorian, so that's worth a look too. And then I think that's pretty much what we've been watching lately.
It is
that and Toy Story, of course.
All the Toy Story.
It was Wyatt loves Toy Story. So, but I think that's. I think we about got it covered. We'll talk more Disneyland, I'm sure, at some point in the future because we love it so much.
It's small, but you can talk about it forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about it over an hour last week. Talked about it over an hour this week, and there's still stuff we didn't get to.
I know.
So, but anyway, everybody look after each other. Take good care of each other. Look after your neighbors, and especially family members that are older. Check in on people. Check in on your friends. Make sure everybody's doing well.
Here in Texas, we're opening up, so we're coming out of this. Yeah. So it'll be good to go out and see people.
There's better days ahead.
Yes.
So just stay positive. Hopefully everybody can stay well, and more and more people are recovering from it. So
yes.
So
if you like our video and channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. Share out our video too. Yeah. When we post this video after our live stream, you will have our email address. There's also a P.O. box. So if you have any questions or anything that you want us to talk about, please let us know. We don't have the answers to everything, but together we can work it out. We can try to figure out the answers to your questions. I've posted some Cincy videos up there about some Cincy things that we've gotten. And I am this project is taking me a long time, but I'm currently working on a video about the reasons as to why Animal Kingdom is a full day park. I know a lot of people think it's a half day park. So I'm working on a video. It's taking me a really long time to get pictures and everything together, but I really hope that to be up probably in June.
Yeah. Also, I think Mom is working on a video about Galaxy's Edge, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. Also, shout out to Dean at the Live Place as well. Thanks for listing us. Go check out the Live Place, and it's got a list of family-friendly YouTube channels. And there's also, I think he's kind of expanding his portfolio beyond just Disney channels. So. It's a great place to go look for family-friendly content. Yeah.
Any kind of travel videos are on there.
And remember, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. Everybody stay positive. Thanks for chatting with us tonight.
And hurry back.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Have a great night.